Right, where have we worked? We've worked in 7 countries. It's been 4 of us. We've been to a lot of these places. Ireland, the UK, Netherlands, New Zealand, Canada, Australia, the United States, Hong Kong. And we visited over 50 of these villages. So we spent a lot of time doing this. It's been 4.5 years, going on for 5 years now. We've been doing this. And one of the results of this whole piece of work, I suppose, is we've put together a book, and the book is about tourist shopping villages. So it's taken us a long time to do this. But the image there is from Volendam in the Netherlands, and it's a seaside shopping village, and that whole village just exists on international visitors being taken there by bus and retailing and selling distinctively Dutch products. Everything from special kind of donuts and foods to wooden shoes to all sorts of souvenir stuff. So it's a fairly typical and major shopping village. Lots of these villages, lots of countries. It's been an interactive study in the sense that we've looked at physical layouts, how these places are set up, and what's being supplied. What do they sell? How do they do that? We've interviewed retailers, marketers, government, local councils, and particularly done the interviews in the United States and Australia. And we've also looked at shoppers' needs. So it's both a demand and a supply perspective. So we're not just talking about shoppers and what they want, nor are we just talking about what retailers supply. We've married those 2 sets of ideas. That's an unusual map of Australia. It doesn't have Sydney and Melbourne and Canberra on it. It has Kuranda, Montville, Yamundi, Mount Tamborine, Houndorf, Strathalbyn, places you've never heard of. Because, of course, they're the little shopping villages. For the Western Australians in the audience, York is probably the best example. There's examples of these all over the country, and they're all over Canada and the US as well. Examples in New Zealand, Arrowtown, Hokitika, number of them. So different maps of different places where we've looked at these villages. How did we do the retailer and manager interviews? Well, we're quite proud of this because we used the new technology to do this. We set up what's called a Zing technology. This is where we have computer-assisted group discussions. So we have about 12 computers, and people can type in their answers to questions, and all the answers are anonymously recorded on a giant screen. You don't know who's providing what answer, but you see all the answers that other people are giving at the one time. So we ran these computer-assisted group discussion processes in 3 states of Australia and 4 locations, and really got some details about what retailers and managers thought their villages' issues, problems, perspectives were. Our first finding, really, was that the village retailers said, we need to provide and maintain the theme. The reason to visit must be our priority. There must be a reason to visit this place. Okay, a reason to visit. And so this is a finding which will resonate, which will drive quite a few later points. But that was the first retailer finding. We went there because people must be able to tell this story. Why did you go to this little village? We went there because it's got fantastic German food. We went there because this is the only place you can buy these unique wooden toys. We went there because this is where you buy the best strawberries in the whole country. We went there, and that's the sort of storytelling that we are looking for, that the retailers said our customers want. If customers have to work very hard to tell a story, to provide an explanation, it exposes the shopping setting as lacking distinctiveness, and that means people aren't going to come back. Yeah, it's like everywhere else. It was pretty nice, but yeah, it was a lot of places like that. It's another plaza. Yeah, it's another shopping mall. We'll go to a different one. So, a story, a key explanation is we went there because. That's a first finding. And other things we got out of the Australian retailer and manager interviews: distinctive products, distinctive fruit, flowers, leatherware, glassware, whatever it is. If you can only buy it in this place, or if it's a specialised place offering this product, it really is useful for your whole retail well-being. So distinctive places with stories to tell become one of the first findings. That was a start. we felt we got something. We did a lot of work travelling around the country, lugging our computer equipment on planes and in cars and all sorts of things to these remote villages. But we did that, and then we said, let's look internationally at what's going on. Let's kind of expand it out of the Australian context. And we did some American interviews as well. And so we involved ourselves in assessing 40 villages outside Australia. Canada, the US, Ireland, and so on. I mentioned some of them before. And we said, what do we feel, what do the other people feel the success stories are here? What's success? Now, some of these international success factors relate to management. Some are obvious and some are less so. That image is from Arrowtown in New Zealand, near Queenstown, which is a tourist attraction area. And you're going to say, oh yeah, that's obvious. Well, that's true. Some of them are obvious. And what's fairly obvious about the management of that particular location is managing parking. It's sort of like it's screaming out at us in that particular photograph. But some of them aren't so obvious. And so what do we think makes for success here? What's the success of these special retail little environments? Well, first up, they've got to be easy to label. With Queenstown, fantastic New Zealand wool products. Hokitika, the jade capital of New Zealand. That's where you go to buy jade if you're going to go to New Zealand. Harndorf in South Australia, that's where you go to have German food and see particular kinds of art. And off you go. Particular locations with a particular story to tell. So easy to label, easy to get to. That's really important. Good pragmatic stuff, but you've got to be able to get there easily. Off of highways, not too much difficult driving and so on. Good public transport, easy to get to. And then thirdly, easy to be in. When you're there, it's just a nice, easy feel to it. Looking at those in a bit more detail. Easy to label, some really good labels for these kind of environments and settings. A heritage label, particular ethnicity. They're key things. It may be a story about, as some of the American ones use, particular cowboys and film stars and so on. You might build your story around that. Or it might be particular arts and crafts. It might be particular things that it's fantastic for, glassware, porcelainware, and so on. So easy to label. Easy to get to, excellent signage, transport links, parking, visitor information services, really rich in being able to tell people what to do, how to spend their time. And this idea of walking capacity. How far can a person walk? Depends on temperature, depends on humidity, but how far can a person walk before they go, no, that's enough, give up, sit down, that's enough. So walking capacity, so the way the particular retail environment is set up in terms of people's ability to walk it in a comfortable way. Easy to be in when you're there. It's designed for multiple users. One of the fascinating things we're beginning to pay attention to in our tourism and leisure studies is we've interviewed individuals for years and years and years. It's been a bit dumb of us because people actually don't operate as individuals. People actually usually operate in small person groups. Either girls together, a girl with a boyfriend, partners with kids, someone with grandma, someone with auntie, and off you go. Okay? So people usually operate in public settings in mini groups. And of course it's the satisfaction of the whole group that matters, not your individual satisfaction. If you've got a terribly bored boyfriend and you're a female going shopping in lingerie shops, it's a bad experience. So the total satisfaction of your unit, that's what matters. So is it designed for multiple users? We're learning a lot about this quite recently. Are there plenty of toilets, good clean public toilets, seats, physical issues for people, shade, temperature control, physical dimensions of the experience, and of course the service quality and help. Now we've been attending to service quality for a while, but we're a little bit bland about this, and I'm going to make some more comments about service quality in a few minutes. But that's the core finding from the international study. Easy to label, easy to get to, easy to be in. But I'm going to say that that's not enough. It's a really fantastic beginning, but it's not enough. We can do a bit better. Certainly we need to add the rich shopper's perspective. So what I've done here so far is take us through Australian interviews and retailer perspectives. I've taken us through international comparison studies. But what about the people in these settings? What do they really think? So we did a substantial review of literature and ideas, global studies on shoppers' needs.